Okay, folks, we want to be talking about a little bit about journaling and programming as well. So it depends on how many years you've trained. These are two really important factors. Now, I tend to do this as a coach. One of my jobs is to look at the clients, assess the clients' movement patterns, their standards, and then keep all documentation upon that. But if you're doing it yourself, you should be doing these two things are so important as a reference tool and to also be able to be measurable and know where we're heading in the right direction, okay? So journaling is something that I used to do, and again, it's not just about the fitness. Like, you can journal about your day as well. A very good thing to actually physically get thoughts out from your mind into paper is a really beneficial thing. But when I journal, I'm looking at my fitness standards, strength standards, and where am I at in regards to where I want to be, okay? And I have all standards that I work with my clients as well. You want to have a good standard of strength, but you also want to have a good standard of fitness as well. And in that fitness is also mobility standards as well. Are you able to touch your toes? Are you able to sit down on the floor, rolling your back or rolling your chest, rolling your back in, get up without using your hands? There's loads of standards that'll help improve everyday life. And that's a huge thing. So journaling these and knowing what these standards are, vitally important, folks, okay? Now it brings on to programming. What I love programming. One of my favorite things to do for myself and my clients as well is to follow a program. Now what I find is that I regularly work on programming for my clients, but most people that I speak to, they never follow through with the program, okay? So don't take a 15-week program if you know you can only really commit to maybe those 6 weeks, okay? Because a lot of people will say then the program hasn't worked. Well, did you do all 6 weeks or 15 weeks of it? So try to get the right program for you so at the time. There is no one ideal program, and that's when you're working with a coach who can work programming variables into your training. You can also get eyes on, which is fantastic. It's a slightly better way to program. Well, sometimes programs can be quite generic, but I've done lots of them as well, so I do like programming. Okay, so again, time frame 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. If you don't like even numbers, it can be odd numbers. Doesn't really matter what the time frame is, but you want to start the program and you want to finish the program, okay? Now, for instance, if it's an 8-week program and you miss a couple of sessions, okay, remember, do not stress out about that. It's longer than a week. We have loads of time to train. So if 8 weeks goes in 9 weeks or 10 weeks, listen, you're still going to get the same results as long as you finish the program. Get to the end, get to the destination, okay? Now, in that program, this is where a little bit of time, a little bit of experience comes in. You can be very regimented. And when you're beginning your programs, you want to be regimental with the programs, with the exercises, with the rest parameters, with exactly what it says, because you will not know, you won't have the experience of knowing what works for you or not. And if you just consistently dive in and out of the program, we don't know if those parameters are going to actually help or hinder you. So what I always do is an assessment right after a program. What worked? What didn't work? Okay, what did I like? What did I not like? Could we improve upon in that program? And if you look at this mindset, it's a really good mindset to have, because you will always grow. Growth mindset is so much better than a fixed mindset. Now, when it comes to myself, because I've been training for over 23 years, I'm quite intuitive when it comes to my training, because I know my fitness standards, I know my strength standards, I know my mobility standards as well. And it depends on if I'm peaking for competition or if I'm out of competition as well, what that competition is. Obviously, that's your programming. But I'm quite intuitive. I would know if an exercise is suited for me. For instance, a bent over row. I prefer now to not have a static strength movement. I prefer to do a pendlay row. So if it was a program that was created for me, if I was implementing one myself, and this is a bent over row, I would do the pendlay row because I'm a little bit more explosive. But again, you can only get that with experience and being intuitive. Again, if you're only starting programs, I highly recommend regimenting. Stick to the program, okay? Like I say, I write programs all the time, so if that is something that interests you, just drop us a wee line, okay? Thank you very much.